In this video, we're going to cover two things. See this rough surface? We're going to take it from being rough to smooth. And we're also going to take a thicker board and then we're going to resaw it. Again, smooth. I'm only using a table saw. There's a couple tips and tricks I want to share with you guys that will hopefully be helpful in your woodworking projects. Let's begin. I'm going to resaw this piece since I messed up with my router. Here I am using my Paolini pocket rule. I'm getting the depth on it. That way I can transfer a line onto the side so I can know where to cut on my table saw. Now I know it might seem a little bit gratuitous, but if there's anything I learned from timber framing, it's always use layout lines. That way you don't get confused. And as you can see here, I use my little tri-grips underneath. I made a video about these and it just helps keep the workpiece from sliding while I'm doing my lines. Also, I like to shade in the area that I plan to get rid of. That way I know which side I keep and which side I'm getting rid of. Once I get past about 1.5 inches, 2 inches in depth, I try to actually cut it in 2 passes, usually right around the middle. Doesn't have to be exact, but right around there. Arguably, this is probably one of the most important accessories you're going to need for resawing is a feather board. Now, I like this one from Bow Products. It's really nice, but it's going to keep the workpiece pressed up against the fence, preventing it from drifting or binding. So now I'm making my first pass. Like I said, I will do 2 passes right around the middle. And again, I can push the board through much more easily. I'm using a job site saw and I don't have a very powerful saw, so 2 passes is much easier on it. Notice how I keep the same face of the board against the saw fence. When you're trying to cut a saw or cut a piece in half, you really want to pay attention to maintaining the same reference face. If you need to, put a mark on it, but this way you have an even cut. So even when I cut this board, it was pretty flat, the overall surface. There is a faint line, and this we will clean up in our next pass. This is now our cleanup pass, and basically I'm taking about 1/16 of an inch. The teeth on the saw blade are 1/8 of an inch, so half a tooth width I'm taking off. The light does exaggerate things, but it is relatively smooth to the touch, and you can use some sandpaper to finish it off. In order to do our cleaning pass, we set our saw to the desired width, and then we just move it over just the tiniest little bit, maybe 1/16 of an inch. I know I said that the feather board is probably one of the most important accessories you need for this operation, but I would also say that having a push stick of some kind is really important. You know, you're having that blade at full height. I'm using a saw stop, but even still, I don't want to set it off. I don't want to get nicked or anything. So having a long base and having it a little bit taller keeps your hands away from the blade and helps keep pressure down on the board. While this is probably a given, do wear a dust mask. Dust collection is terrible with this, and as you can see, it is going everywhere. So as you can see, no burning, the surface is smooth. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.